Yankees manager Joe Girardi is a big football fan, obviously, but part of this offseason, his attention was more focused on the Yankees manager part of his title. Ultimately, he and the Yanks worked out a new 4-year deal to return. And Jack Curry had a chance to sit down with Girardi just after he re-signed to talk about his decision.
Joe, you signed a 4-year contract to come back as manager of the Yankees. What were some of the factors that were most important in making that decision?
I think my family was probably the first factor, making sure that they were still on board. And they're very excited that we're back. They love living in the New York area, going to school here, love coming to the ballpark. So because of that, I'm very fortunate. And being the Yankee manager, I mean, it's tremendous. It's a tremendous opportunity. I enjoy it. And we have an opportunity to be in one place for 10 years, and that has never happened for us.
You've won a World Series title here as a Yankee manager. You won a Manager of the Year award with the Marlins. But a lot of folks looked at the job you did this year with the injuries and the distractions, and yet still winning 85 games, still keeping this team in postseason contention as maybe one of the best managing jobs you've ever done. How do you evaluate the job you did?
Well, I think it was interesting. I think we had 55, 56 players play for us. We had guys coming through the door all the time. There's a couple stories that come to mind. Vernon Wells playing third base in Colorado. I saw him take ground balls on a day off one day. I said, that doesn't look too bad if I ever get caught. And we were kind of caught in Colorado because Nooney was hurt and we were short some players. And then we had some players walk through the door that they didn't want to let them in the ballpark because they didn't know who they were, and we had just signed them. So it was interesting. It was enjoyable. I think my coaching staff did a tremendous job. I give a lot of credit to the players because there's a lot of times that people count us out, and they just kept fighting and fighting and getting back up, and it was enjoyable.
Joe, in a season where the Yankees didn't make the postseason, there was still some things to celebrate at the end, and it seemed as if you really embraced the idea of being able to give proper goodbyes to both Andy Pettitte and Mariano Rivera. What were those experiences like?
I loved them. I think it's important that you never overlook when you have special people on your team and what they've meant to this organization. And seeing Andy get his 275th career win in Houston in front of his family, in front of about 50 people, what he had meant to this club. Watching Mo pitch for the last time in a Yankee uniform against Tampa, and watching Derek and Andy Pettitte go and take him out was really special for me, and that was not planned. In my mind that day, I knew that he was going to pitch in Yankee Stadium, and I really believed that it was going to be a save situation. The game was going to mean something for Tampa, but it didn't work out that way, and it probably worked out better because it gave Mo a chance to have that special moment.
And when you go back to that moment, Pettitte and Jeter coming out, Rivera on the mound, we've all seen it dozens of times. Is that the best spontaneous decision you've ever made as a manager?
Probably one not really involving the game time strategy or something like that. Absolutely. I just thought it worked out much better than I ever imagined. I just started thinking about it in the 8th inning as the 8th inning had ended and he was going back out for the 9th. And I thought it'd be a special moment for him. And I thought it was the right thing to do because you look at Andy and you look at Derek, what they've done with Mo, and Jorge Posada as well. I kind of wish he was here, too. We could have sent him out there in street clothes or something, but they've been linked together for so long. I thought it was important that they went and got him.
Joe, you got the chance to play with both Mariano Rivera and Andy Pettitte, and now as a manager, you got the chance to be able to say goodbye to them. A lot of emotions involved in that. What were those experiences like for you?
It was emotional because those two have meant so much to my life, whether I was a teammate of theirs or I was a coach or a manager or even a broadcaster. I got to watch greatness on a pretty daily basis almost. And that was important to me. They were my friends. And when I was a player, we hung out and we did things together. And so there was a lot of emotions because, when you're knocked out of the playoffs, you realize this really is the end. And I think it really hits you. What they stood for on the field and off the field is something that I would tell my kids. You can model yourself after these gentlemen. The way they've approached the game, how hard, what they put into every pitch, every out, every season. It was always about being the best that you could possibly be for your teammates and for yourself. And I had a lot of respect for that.
When you think of your connection with the Yankees and how your career changed once you became affiliated with the Yankees, what kind of thoughts run through your mind?
Very fond of my time with the Yankees. I think I'm very fortunate and blessed because I arrived in 1996, and when you think about being a Yankee player or a Yankee fan, that was a pretty good time to arrive. They proceeded to win 4 out of the 5 next championships. I was here for 3 out of 4 of them, and they were in World Series and postseason for a long, long time, and I had a chance to be here as a coach in 2005 with Joe Torre, and that was special, a broadcaster here. These have been great years of my life, and I wouldn't trade them in for anything. When I grew up a little boy, I always imagined myself being a player. Never moving beyond that age because I thought those people were old. But this has been a special part of my life, and I would never want to go back. I would not want to go back and be a player because I'm really enjoying what I'm doing.
And the idea that you can spend 10 years managing in one place, and a place like New York where there are expectations, very heavy expectations to succeed, what does that mean to you?
It means a lot. It means a lot to my family and I that we can be in one place for 10 years and they can be in the same school system. And, you know, my daughter will get a chance to graduate high school and not have to change in the middle. And my son has been here a long time, and my youngest, too, is starting school. So that is really important. But it also means that we've been successful in New York. And that's important to me, too, because when I put on the uniform, it's very important that we do everything we can to win as a manager and a coaching staff and players, and you usually don't stick around if that's not happening.